everybody. So this is gonna be a little bit, this is actually kind of ironic because the topic I'm gonna talk about has to do with like mukbangs and like stuff like that. Well, you guys probably always see the fucking what you call it, title or whatever the fuck. But I just got Wingstop with my friend and she had to go home because she lives in Minneapolis and stuff like that, and so she got to drive back because I don't want her walking the streets of Minneapolis that late. And so yeah, so I'm gonna try to finish this here with you guys while we talk a little bit about what's currently going on with amberlynn reid, because it's been on my mind as of late and it just is so much. Oh my god, my fucking baby hairs right now. Have I just been out and about just like that? That's crazy. But anyways, it's been on my mind for like a really long time because it's just a lot of developments and I consume amberlynn content like all across the board. Like I have her on Facebook. I'm in like a Facebook group. I'm on Reddit sometimes. I feel like the Reddit's kind of dull. I don't know, because I always get banned, and so the community is not able to grow as like fast as, you know, somewhere on Facebook. And I obviously watch her on YouTube. Not watch her, I watch reactions. I've never watched any of her content. If you guys remember what I said before about her as a person, I just don't want to give her the view because I feel like it's not like I mean, I have ad block, I have all this and that, but at the same time it's like I still don't want to give her that like attention. I'd rather give that to like a channel that doesn't really benefit from it anyways. Like reaction channels, I feel like since I have ad block, I'm not really giving that much energy, but okay, whatever. And then I also sometimes get her stuff on TikTok, but not often because I at least want to say space of like no amberlynn stuff. But this recent stuff about what's going on with her is actually kind of interesting, but at the same time it almost made me like not want to watch her anymore because I was just like if like, okay, this is so ironic for me to like eat while I'm talking about this, but like I feel like it's so fucking ironic for her not ironic, but I just feel like not ironic. I don't know why I was saying ironic. I feel like this whole situation is just super super interesting because I feel like this is one of the first times where we've not first times because I feel like the first time we ever witnessed amberlynn doing like or like something in amberlynn verse or like the amberverse where it feels real, you know. It feels real, it feels dangerous because like the first time I ever felt this way was when she announced that she had cancer, and I was like, holy fuck. Like that's when I literally stopped watching her because I was like, yeah, because I just didn't want to watch her go through it. And I just stopped there because I kind of like it hit me there. I was like, oh shit, like this is reality. Like she's actually going through this. Like her weight is actually having an effect on her who she is as a person, and it's causing her all these issues. And obviously, cancer is not something you really fuck around with. But like Amber's history with people who have cancer, as we know, as everybody knows within the amberlynn community, she does not do well with that topic because if you guys remember, Beck's mother had cancer and they were doing a GoFundMe, and there's a whole situation about the GoFundMe if you guys want to know. I think either Zach has it, or I think it's either Zach, Michael B. Petty, or Alex might cover it. Those are the three that I primarily watch, and so if you guys want to know more about that, then you can go check it out. But essentially they were doing like a crowdfunding for Beck's mom's chemotherapy, I believe, or like because like allegedly the insurance did not cover her treatment. And Amber decided to be, you know, the fucking empath, the beautiful empath that she is, and like this super, you know, kind, giving person that would literally like give the skin off of her back for anybody. She sent Beck's mom a fucking message saying that like, oh, like it feels like you're being ungrateful because like you haven't even said thanks to me once. Like that's something that like sticks to me. Like there's so many things that Amber has done in her life where I'm just kind of like, that's kind of funny, or like, oh, that's kind of shitty, but that's not like egregious. One of the most like egregious thing, which I believe is like something that she should probably be not crimed for, but I feel like she should have some like type of consequence to what she did, was when she was alleging that Casey, her ex, had SA'd her when in fact she was the one that was the assaulter in the case. And the fact that she, you know, she stole a lot of what Casey went through. Like she stole Casey's like coming out story, she stole all of this and that, and the way that she treated Casey and the way that Casey has had to deal with this for the rest of his life is just so horrid. And I really do feel that she should be at least held accountable for it. But you know, a lot of people who come into the Amberverse nowadays just kind of know her as like, oh, they gave me chips instead of an apple or some shit like that. And it's like, okay, we can kiki and we can laugh about that, but at the same time, I'm not eating anything right now. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but like I'm just yapping. That's why I can never do a mukbang, because I'm always talking. But it's just like, I feel so much for Casey. If you guys want to know more about his story, he did an interview with Mr. Snowflake. I'm not the biggest fan of Mr. Snowflake, I'll be honest with you. I'm always kind of weary of, you know, straight men that come into the community, because I'm like, what are you, what are you doing here? I'm like, for me, it's also kind of the same with Willow, like Willow Davis. Like, I think he's generally a pretty cool dude, but I'm also a little weary of like straight guys coming into community, because they don't understand, you know, Amber the way that we do. I'm just gonna say that is, they just don't understand Amber the way we do. Because, you know, if you've been a woman who's been overweight, a woman that's LGBT, and if you're like all of those, if you're a woman that like is on a diet, if you're a woman like this, that's how a lot of people find Amber. And even if you're not a woman, you probably have a lot of things that are like similar to her. You're probably LGBT, you're probably gay of some sort. You probably struggle with your weight. That's how you probably find her, that when you're like struggling with your weight, or you're dealing with, you know, eating issues. And for me, I think I found her through, I don't know how I found her actually, but I think I was definitely like on that like side of like mukbangs or whatever the fuck, and I stumbled onto like channels talking about her, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. I honestly don't remember how I found her. I think it might have been like a Zachary Michael video. I cannot remember. But for me, I relate to a lot of things about her. I relate to the things that she feels about food. I relate to the things that she says about like her personality and the way that she feels sometimes. And I relate to a lot of, you know, those feelings of like just like self-doubt, because a lot of things that she says about like the way she wants to be perceived on YouTube and stuff like that, I do agree with. And there's a lot of times I do sympathize with her, but there are so many other times where I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, like it's good to watch your content and like be critical of it. And so when I'm watching Amber, I'm like, I take her as like a kind of like a, whatchamacallit, like a reality TV show. So I don't take it as seriously as if I was watching someone who I actually cared about, because I don't care about people on reality TV. Like, sue me that I don't care about people that I don't know, okay? And so when I watch Amber, I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't give a fuck about you. Like, I mean, I would care if, you know, she died or something, because, oh my gosh, like, death. But I think that just as a person, I just don't care about her. Like, the times that I find myself irritated by her and everything that she does, I stop watching, because I'm not watching this to, you know, feel anger, to feel whatever the fuck. I'm watching this because I think it's funny. I think I can laugh about it and stuff like that. But like in this situation specifically, the one that I'm going to start talking about, I just don't find anything really funny about it, other than like, you know, like some memes about, you know, the whatever the fuck. But the main thing that angers me about this Tommy situation is not that, you know, they're a feeder, because if you guys didn't know, I think that a lot of us, or a lot of the more casual watchers, don't really think about Amber that deeply. And so we don't really think about, oh, like who's actually her fan base, like who's actually watching these videos beyond us, because there has to be more people than just us watching this. Like, it isn't just, you know, the gays, you know, not laughing, the gays fucking gossiping, or the people who care about her weight talking. It's there has to be more to her fan base than just what is going on here. And so I've come to realize that her fan base is probably built up of like 1/3 of feeders, and those feeders probably don't comment, they don't really interact with her on like a public platform. But I think that they do hype her up behind the scenes. I think they do send her DMs, they send her probably emails or everything like this, telling her that like her lifestyle is, you know, perfect, her lifestyle is desirable, and she's doing the right thing, and she's just beautiful, and she should just keep on doing what she's doing. I believe that. And I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory, but I truly believe that while I wish this wasn't a thing for bigger women, especially on the internet, I think that when you're a bigger woman, there will always be like a part of your following that sees you as a fetish, will see you as a sexual object. And that goes for like all women in general, but like especially for like the bigger women, I think that a lot of the times when they post their bodies online, or just post themselves, not even their face, not even their bodies, just their face, they will garner a lot of attention just for being bigger. And regardless of what comes out of their mouth, regardless of what happens, like whatever they do, it always comes back to their weight. And I think that with Amber, we should separate her weight from her. Like, I know that that's like a hard thing to do, but we just have to separate her weight, because honest to God, like the argument of her just being a fat ass. Okay, no, I didn't say that. The argument of her just being a fat person who does bad things kind of like waters down the argument a little bit, right? Like, you can just say she's a bad person without including her weight, because I'm not sitting here and be like, oh, we should be body positive, this and that, because I don't give a fuck, okay? But essentially, like, I feel like being fat at this point in terms of her is like such a fucking low ball of a criticism. You know, you could literally say so much more about her beyond her weight, rather than just like, oh, one of the bad things about her is that she's fat. The fuck? The fuck? Who gives a fuck? Dude, I do not. Every time she does a weigh-in, whatever the fuck, I'm like, girl, I don't care. Just show me whatever the food you're eating. Like, like, I do not care about her weight. Like, the only time I've cared was when she was like, I was like almost 600 pounds at one point. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to do about that? Like, what do you want me to do with that information other than be like, oh, wow, this is a big number? Because I feel like if you're putting your weight out there, you want like a reception to it. Because, you know, I'm not gonna sit on my platform and be like, you guys guess what? I'm eensy teensy, like I'm so small. Oh my gosh. Or like I'm coming here like, you guys, I gained like 16 pounds. I gained like 30 pounds. Like, if I feel like if you're gonna say that on the internet, you're gonna have to expect some type of criticism, some type of like thoughts on that, because it's like, if you wanted it to be private, you could have kept it private. But no, you want to keep it raw and real. But when you get the raw and real from your audience, you're like, oh my gosh, you guys. It's like, and here's the kicker of it all, right? My main gripe with this whole Tommy situation is that she is getting angry at her audience. I'm not gonna play any clips because I don't want that little lady come over here and be like, boop, copyright, because I don't have funds. The funds are empty right now because of this Wingstop. Okay, that's getting cold because I'm not eating it. She was okay. You guys can go watch the video in your time or go watch a reaction channel, but essentially she just said like this is like your guys' fault for like getting rid of Tommy. Like, she's going through so much right now, and like I literally had all of my future planned out. Like, I knew what I wanted with this girl, and it sucks so hard to have like something that's all planned out and everything in your future just taken away from you without your consent. And it's just like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, girl. I really, really hate to be the bearer of bad news, but like, whose fault is it? Because I surely wasn't the one next to you forcing your hand to post that TikTok. I surely was not the one behind the camera holding up a little Q sign being like, talk about Tommy, talk about this new girl you're talking about, make sure to post her, this and that. Like, surely, you have to take accountability for what you're doing, right? Like, if I came onto my platform here and like showed off on like a partner I had, and turns out my partner is a fucking pedophile, and I'm just like, you guys, like, no, he's so sweet to me, she's so sweet to me, this and that, like, they're so sweet to me, like, you guys don't understand, like, behind the scenes, like, he treats me like such an angel, but there is like proof, evidence, there's literally like case A, case B, like so much fucking evidence of them being a pedophile or them being, you know, a murderer or something like that. And I'm just like, you guys, like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, you guys don't understand him like I do. You don't understand her like I do. Like, you don't understand, because I've only known them for a month, but like, I just feel like it's true love. I really feel like they're the one. Like, I've never felt this way before. And it's like, I think you guys would have to like institute me, like put me into a fucking mental asylum, because what the fuck is that all about? There's no way you're falling in love with someone within a month to that degree. Well, I know someone's getting married within like a year of knowing somebody, but I feel like that's a different can of worms. But in this instant, it's like, oh, like, I want her to move in with me, this and that, and it's like, let's slow the roll. Let's talk about this. Like, let's think about this like critically, because I know that Amber does this thing where she basically copies her partner's like personality, which I think is the symptom of her BPD. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, she doesn't or she do and whatever the fuck, because what the fuck I look like? I got like all these bogus on my fucking walls. So there's no like there's no way I can sit here and make any definitive claims of her mental illnesses, but I do believe that she has some type of thing where she just kind of mirrors her partner. And then so I think that, you know, this Tommy person, this, I can't remember the actual, whatever, I'll just call her Tommy, but this Tommy person is a kind of a fairly fast-paced person as well. I think that Tommy is a person that likes to move fast and like, quote unquote, falls hard, and is like a massive fucking love bomber. And so when Amber sees that, she's like, oh shit, like, I want to do that too. Like, oh, she wants to move fast, then I want to move fast. Oh, she loves me, then I love her. Like, I think that there's something within her that like wants to mirror this energy, and it's like, you don't have to do that. You are your own person. You're a grown fucking woman. You're like what, 35, 36. As a 21-year-old, I don't feel like the need to like, fucking talk down to you. So I know that that this isn't normal. And she's said this before. I think that Amber is much smarter than what she's like putting on, and this is something that I don't think that a lot of people want to believe, but it's true. She is. I don't want to give her too much credit, but she is a little bit smart. She's a little bit smart. Okay, she's not like Harvard smart. She's not fucking Einstein smart, but she's obviously a little, kind of up there. And regardless of her mental illnesses, regardless of that, like I think that beyond mental illness, you can be a reasonable person. Not reasonable, but you can be someone who's able to acknowledge what their actions are. They're able to like think coherently about what to do and what not to do. I don't think that people who have mental illnesses are just incapable of making proper sound decisions. Okay. A lot of people around me have mental illnesses, and I think that they are able to make these sound decisions, and they don't, despite their mental illnesses, they're still able to kind of, not work around it, but kind of deal with it in a way that allows them to just be like somewhat functioning, and I don't believe that mental illnesses define a person. So regardless of if she has BBD or not, regardless if she has OCD or not, regardless of all that, like I believe that she is able to make sound decisions. I feel like she is someone who is conscious and has free will, and so I believe that she has this ability to say that, oh Tommy, I don't want to move that fast, I don't want to do this and that, like, oh, like I think that we should slow down. My last relationship, we moved too fast, and like, oh, I think we should slow down, like Valentine, like cheat on me, this and that. But no, it's like she's like, I just want to match her energy. I just love it when people match their freaks. And I think that like her horniness definitely has, I'm just saying it out there, man. I definitely think that she's someone who's like very, very horny and very just, not even horny, just like, she just needs someone. Like she's needy. She just needs somebody next to her. And I don't know if that's horny. I don't know if she's down to fuck like that. I don't know. I don't care. But I think that she definitely like needs that like physical attention. Like I think it's something that is probably as powerful as her addiction to food. She needs that personal attention. She's like, oh man, I'm just feeling for it. And then so I think that on the days that she's not posting, or on the on and off times that she's like not eating or doing bingo or going out with her mom, this and that, she's probably in the fucking DMs fucking trying to get a little boo thing up in here, because I think that she believes that without a partner she's nothing. And as much as she would like to say that, oh, I can survive on my channel by myself, it's always been about me, and so regardless if I have someone, I don't believe that. I don't believe that, because Amber, without someone influencing her personality, she's basically no one. And I mean that in the most genuine way. Like she just kind of falls into this kind of base state of just being someone who is lost, and someone who's indecisive, and someone who is just in the cycle of this toxicity. And I think that that comes from her childhood, that comes from whatever the fuck. Like she obviously is a very troubled individual, and it comes from her background of being in an orphanage, having parents who are addicted to drugs, and just having all this trauma in her past. But at the same time, she's an adult. She's been through so many rounds of therapy. If you have watched Amber, you would have known how much therapy she has been through. And despite all the journaling, despite all the therapy, she has not, it has not clicked in her head. I don't know what it is. I think she knows that it's wrong. She knows that whatever the fuck in there is not correct, but she's like, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. You know what? Who gives a fuck? I think that she's consciously making this decision to be this way. I don't think that this is something that she can't control. I think that she's choosing to be this way, because there are so many ways that you could be in this world, and she's choosing to be this way. I know that deep down she probably thinks that she can't. I think that she thinks she can't, but I think she is deliberately choosing this lifestyle for her. And at this point, I think that, I'm not saying leave her to it, because if we leave her to it, she's probably gonna end up like Chantal in fucking, I don't know, Kuwait. So I don't know. And I also kind of veer on the side of like, I don't want to interact with her ever. I don't want her to mention my name. I don't want her to ever know who I am as a person, because the last thing I want to do is get involved, because it's like, it's like watching monkeys, right? The last thing you want to do is interact with like a monkey, and next thing you know, it's like ruin up the fucking observation. Like if you're watching something, I think that you have to be demented to think that you want to get involved in this situation. Like, you see a fucking fire going on, right? You see a fucking fire going on, and your first reaction is, oh shit, let me. And this is going to like the people that decide to do this. I don't give a fuck about what you think. Like these, like the fan base that like does this, or like the people that do this within this like community, log off. Because how are you going to see a fire that's going on with amberlynn and all this and that, and you decide to run into the fucking DMs, you decide to, you know, do all this and that. Like, I'm actually glad that, like, some of the people, you know, like, dig up this information and stuff like that. But when you personally get involved, like, when you start DMing Amber about this and that, and when you start DMing Tommy, you start DMing Becky, you start Beck, sorry, and then you start DMing, like, Destiny, asking them how they feel about this and that. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, stay out of it. Like, there's no point in doing this, because all you're doing is adding fuel to fire. And I think that like in this community there is an addiction to drama. I think that a lot of the people in this community like drama, and I'm not saying that I don't, because obviously I'm watching too. Obviously I'm sitting here fucking and so I can't sit on a fucking high pedestal and be like, you guys fucking suck, I'm better than you because I don't engage with Amber. Like, girl, we're all in this together, okay? But some of us are worse than others, and I think that they should be held accountable for their actions, because what the fuck are you doing going over to Amber's account, talking about this and that. It's like fucking prodding her, like literally poking at her to see her reaction. Like, what is the point of that? Like, does that bring you joy? Because if it brings you joy, girl, get off the internet. I'm so fucking serious. Like, you need to like get some serotonin elsewhere, because if your serotonin comes from poking Amber, think about that. You're literally going online, verbally harassing a morbidly obese woman in the Instagram DMs. Like, come on now. You could literally be harassing fat people in real life, and you're doing it online. Like, what is the point? You will literally reap no benefits. Your name will not be remembered. You will not get anything out of this. Like, you could, I'm not advocating you to go out and harass fat people, okay? Because I feel like they get enough of that already. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, the internet, while it is a real place, it doesn't really like equate to what we have in this real world. Like, I feel like you would get a lot more of a reaction if you were to go out and about and, you know, fucking harass a fat person at a gym or something like that, because then there's like real life consequences and real life reactions. But when you're doing it online and fucking poking and prodding at Amber or anybody else, like glitter and lasers, like all these other fat people, like they have their faults, but for you to be over here like, oh my gosh, like and getting them fucking irritated and all this and that, like, I think you probably should put that on your resume. I'll be honest with you, like, that's the only way you're gonna get like anything out of this, other than like this feeling of superiority, or this feeling of like serotonin, like happiness. Like, if you feel happy going after these fat women, that's weird. That's weird. Like, it's already weird enough to be in a community where it's kind of like a circle jerk around like this fat woman, because I definitely don't really talk about this like interest at all with other people, because I do find it kind of strange at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like a snake eating itself. Like, you know it's not good for you, but you continue to do it anyways, almost. It's like a form of cannibalism almost within this community as well. I think that it starts with Amber, and then it starts with like the fans, and then they turn into haters, and then they just continue to like kind of cannibalize themselves, because then within that like kind of hater mindset, it kind of goes like they start to just I don't know, start to like cannibalize each other, because then they'll start to be like, oh, like this and that, like this member, this and that. And it's just like, girl, like, we're here for Amber, and that's it. Like, I don't care about this Alexis person. I don't care about this and that. Like the side characters matter, but at the end of the day, it's about Amber. Honestly, like, you know, I did like the saga where Destiny hopped on live and this and that, but like what Amber said about her brother being addicted to meth or something like that, like, you know better, girl. Like, even if it was in a private situation, why the fuck would you bring that up so nonchalantly? Because I would never bring up any of my friends' traumas or any of my siblings. No, I don't have siblings. I don't know why I said that. I'm a liar. But I would never bring up any of my family members' traumas just so casually on a phone, even if I'm like arguing with them. I wouldn't be like, oh, so your mom died? You know, or like I'm arguing with them over some fucking petty shit about like talking on the internet. It's like, oh, that's why your fucking mom died. That's why she killed herself. Like, why would you say that? Like, why would you say that? And say that you're a kind, empathetic person? How could you say that and say that, oh, I'm this nice person, and like, I don't know why everybody hates me, like, I'm such a sweet person? It's like, no, the fuck you're not, girl, because nice people don't weaponize someone's trauma. No sociologist, no psychologist, but come on now, girl, we know better. Well, maybe not you, but I think the majority of this world knows better. And I think that this Tommy situation, I almost stopped watching because I was like, I don't want, like, as much as I don't like Amber, I don't want to see her die. Like, I think that nobody here wants to watch her die. I think there probably is a subset of people that like want her to fucking, pass away. And to that I say, oh my gosh, log off. Because holy fuck, you're wishing death on another person. Like, that is when you just really, 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 really need to touch the ground, meditate, go for a walk. I don't know, pet your dog, pet your cat, do something, because right now this is not beneficial for you, not beneficial for her. Because if you're wishing death on somebody, that's not good. I don't know. I feel like that's just not good. Let me move myself down a little bit. But look at my target bag. And but like the thing is, like, with this Tommy thing, I think that this was the second time I ever felt like this pit in my stomach of like, holy shit. Like, I think that Amber, like, I think this is probably endgame. And and I mean that in the most genuine way. Like, I think that like it was endgame because like if Amber is able to make it out of this relationship alive, I think she'll be barely holding on at this point, because she's literally, because Beck was alleged to be an enabler, and we've seen some of their actions every now and then about like, but I think that in Beck's situation, I think that they I don't want to excuse what they did, because I do think that they did a lot of wrong things, like, the GoFundMe thing, and like some of the stuff that they did after making their channel, making these promises to their subscribers and stuff like that. I think there's some things that you can criticize them about, but I think that when you look at it, it's like the lesser of two evils almost. I don't know how to describe it, but I think that Beck was in a really difficult situation. They were reliant on Amber for basically everything. Like, they were not working, they were not doing fuck all. All they were doing was literally doing DoorDash for Amber. They were a full-time DoorDasher for Amber. And I think that and I think that once they got on their medication, and once it went down that spiral, just feeling numb and just feeling like a zombie, in their words, and not remembering their own birthday, which is so scary, I think that you just kind of do what you're told. And I think that that's something that a lot of abuse victims fall into, that kind of feeling of like, oh, like, I'll just do this for them so they won't get mad at me, and so I can just kind of just go about my day, because I don't want to, I don't want to like put more of my mental capacity into this if I don't have to, because I literally don't have anything in me to deal with this. And so I think that was probably where Beck was at, where they were like, oh fuck, like, I don't want Amber to get mad at me for not buying her fucking Subway, and so I'll just buy the Subway and she can eat it, and then she won't be mad at me. And I know it's wrong for her, I know it's bad for her, but like, I want, because I think that you have to be selfish in this situation. I really, really do. I think that Beck deserves to be selfish in this situation, because I think that if you've ever been, depressed in that way or medicated that way, you feel like so numb that like you're paralyzed to do anything. Like, you're paralyzed, you're scared of like any conflict, you're scared of anything that would require you to have any mental clarity, put any mental, thought into it. And so I think that, or like emotional, whatever the fuck, and so I think that when you're in that state where you're literally like this close to the edge, you just have to do whatever you have to survive. And I think that Beck did whatever they had to do to survive. And I mean that, like, and I'm glad that they're still alive. I'm glad that they're doing well with their new girlfriend and stuff like that. I'm glad that they're able to live life, but I definitely think that they will live their life with a lot of trauma of what happened in this era. And we can all like giggle and laugh about the Beck era, and we can say it's like the best era, and I do think it was the best era, I'll be honest with you, because I'm not a big fan of Destiny. I think Destiny definitely gives like Cartman energy, like Cartman or like 4chan energy, where it's like very kind of. And I think around that time, amberlynn was at her most offensive. I don't think that was the time where she said, I look like such a B. I think it might be, no, I think it was during the rave, so that was during Becky, but I definitely think that Amber, yeah. Yeah. And so that's why I don't really fault Beck, but at the same time, I do recognize a lot of the things that they've done, and I'm not like a big fan of Beck, but I think that they came out better, like they came out like better looking, or like better optic wise compared to Amber, because I feel like a lot of people can sympathize with their position within that relationship. And I'm trying to speak about this like in a, at least like entertaining, but like also like really serious way, because I think that was a really, 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 really toxic relationship. And at the time, I think as the audience, we knew that it was toxic, but at the same time, it's like Beck knew that they probably didn't want it. It's like they knew that they wanted an out, but at the same time, they were so in deep. It's like come on, like a gambler's like fallacy where you're like, oh, I just have to keep on putting in more, and by the time you put in like 1,000 or like $1 million, you're like, oh fuck, like I just have to keep on going and so I think that Beck was in that, because they've been dating for so long, and they have invested so much emotion and so much whatever the fuck into their relationship, and so they're like, oh, I feel the need to stay. I feel the need to defend Amber because like I've invested so much into this relationship, like my mental stability, my emotional stability, like I've invested so fucking much. I've given up my family, like my family fucking hates me because they don't like Amber, and so I think that Beck sacrificed a lot for that relationship, and that's why I think that Beck defended Amber until the very end. But then once they got out of it, they realized that, wow, like I didn't need to do that, like that wasn't part of my job description. Yeah. And so that's why I think that like this relationship, I don't care much about Feline. Is that her name? I don't care about Feline because whatever that situation is, I'm glad that she got out safely. And just went no contact, but at the same time, it's like I think that there's like it's been pointed out in this community. I think there's a trend, right? There is definitely a trend where Amber says that, her partners are great and they leave so amicably and like everything is just so fine and dandy. And then next thing you know, everybody goes no contact. Everybody started talking shit about her online. And it's like, if you were really like, it can't be just that, she just runs into all these fucking shitty people. It can't be that Casey is a bad person. It can't be that, Destiny's a bad person. It can't be that Beck is a bad person. It can't be that Feline is a bad person. It can't be that Valentine's a bad person. Like, what are the odds? What are the odds of all of these like unconnected people turn out to be these horrible people where Amber comes out looking like a fucking angel, it's a victim, and blah blah blah, this and that. Like there's something that connects all of these people together, and you know who it is. I'm not gonna name names, but we all know who it is. It all connects, and so yeah, I'm kind of glad that the Tommy thing is quote unquote over. I don't believe it is. I think that Amber is someone who is addicted to toxicity. I really do think that she's addicted to things that are not good for her, and I think that Tommy is definitely someone who is not good for her, and I think that she kind of craves that. I think she likes the kind of she likes the attention, she likes whatever the fuck Tommy's giving her, and so she's going to continue to search for it. It's like, a drug addict knowing that something's bad for them, but they continue to go back to it. And I think that Amber has always just been like that. Honestly, I don't know. I've been watching her for this long, and that's just how I feel about it. And like I said, I don't know her in real life. She's been a lot more kind of secretive these last couple of days. Not couple of days. These last couple of years, just in regards to like her personal life. Like definitely, she was more open when she was around like Destiny and like Beck. But once Feline and whoever the fuck came afterwards, she's been a lot more kind of secretive with her life. And so I can't really say too much on current her. But back then, I definitely think she was not a great person. And like. It just puts such a sour taste in my mouth, the way that she was blaming her audience, like literally like fucking sobbing about the fact that her audience stopped her from dating a feeder. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, don't you think that's crazy? Like, I go back to that like thing of like, oh, like what if I was dating someone and they turned out to be a murderer? I'm not saying that, this person, Tommy, is a murderer, because I don't know. I wasn't in the situation. I know like, some screenshots here and there, but I wasn't there. I don't know them personally, and so I can't really speak on that. But if I were to date someone who even has a notion of murder around them, I think I would just dip, honestly. Like, I think that a month is really easy to get away from, honestly. Like a relationship that has only lasted a month is easier to get away with than like a relationship that has lasted a year, because like the amount of investment that you have within a relationship, relationships are investment at the end of the day. And so I do think that like she needs to get out like now, because I don't know, dude. Like, it's crazy. I just can't wrap my head around the fact why she would blame her audience in this way. Like, why she would be coming on the camera and literally like sobbing about the fact that she's not able to date this feeder, about the fact that she's not being able to be like fed to death, about the fact that she can't do this and that. I think it's so childish to come on the internet and pretend that everybody here is out to get you, that everybody here has your worst intentions, like literally wants you to fucking die, literally want you the worst to happen to you. Like, everybody out here is in opposition. Everybody out here is out to get you and wants the worst for you and wants you to fucking just not thrive. And I think that if you feel that way on the internet, if you feel that the eyes that are on you are evil, and you feel like the people that are watching you do not want the best for you, then get the fuck out of the internet. I'm so fucking serious. Amber, I can make money in another way. I don't know how, just go on disability or something. I'm saying that as like it's an easy thing, but like she could get on disability and stuff like that. There are so many other options that could save her mental health, but instead she decides to engage with the internet. She decides to do this and that. And I'm gonna say this over and over again. She is a 30, almost 40 something woman. I think she's almost 40. Like she is a grown adult woman choosing to engage with the internet, choosing to do this. The end of the day, the word is choosing. She's not being forced. She's not being coerced. She's choosing to interact with the internet. She's choosing to interact with the trolls. She's choosing to do this and that. Like I said, the trolls probably shouldn't be there, but she's also choosing to interact with them. And I think that at the end of the day, it's what she chooses to do. And when she's not able to do what she wants to do, she gets mad. And I think that the fact that she's getting mad about her fan base getting, like, at least, like, I think this is probably like the nicest the community has ever been, because they genuinely want the best for Amber. They believe that she is in danger. They believe that she deserves more than this. They believe that she should have a better life. And like, if she were to introduce Tommy into her life, she would not be alive in the next 2 to 3 years, because the rate's not looking so good, babe. The rate is not looking so good, okay? The timeline is not looking good, okay? And the fact that she took that kindness for malicious intent, it's kind of crazy. Like, how does your mind do backflips like that? Like, how does your mind just equate someone actually caring about you into, oh my god, they literally want like the worst for me, they're trying to steal this away from me, this and that. Like, how does your mind work like that? And that's why I think that she should start journaling. We need to start reflecting, homegirl. Like, let's pull out the journals, let's start reflecting, let's talk about it, because right now we are not mulling it over. We're acting on impulse, we're acting on emotions, we're acting on this and that, and it's like, it's not good for you, babe, to be mulling it over constantly like that, because it's, yeah, you just gotta think it out, bro. You gotta think it out, because I sometimes get like that in my head too. I get like really impulsive and I feel a certain way, and the next thing you know, I'm like being like super like about it, and then like next couple of days I think on it a little bit more, and I'm like, oh wait, like actually I think I'm a little bit more nuanced on that topic than I thought I was. Like, I actually don't feel that way. And I think that's probably something a lot of us humans feel as well, because we just evolve as beings, and it can be just as fast as within a day or a couple of weeks or to a year or a couple of years. So we're always kind of changing the way that we think, and that's why I think that Amber definitely just needs to get off the fucking internet. I'm so serious. Like, even if like the content like suffers, I don't care, because at the end of the day, I'd rather have her, not posting and us suffering in the meantime than her being dead. I mean, I'm trying to look at it on both sides, and I'm just kind of like, well, there are really, a couple options, and one of the options is literally death, and that's, I think, one of the more avoidable ones that we should probably take. And so if it means that she gets off the internet and, the Amberverse kind of dies down for a little bit, then so be it. We can always find other locales. We can always find other people to kind of dunk on. There's so many other people that are probably more problematic than Amber, but I think that I think that a lot of people kind of feel more comfortable in the Amberverse, because it's not like overly, like, she's not overly racist. She's not coming on here and talking some fucking right-wing shit, calling people the N-word and stuff like that, right? She's just being her, but at the same time her actions are kind of weird, and so it's not easier to digest. But when you watch people like Tafia Chu, or you're watching Blair White, you're watching all these people that are like just pearly things, Andrew Tate, you're watching these people literally say hate speech, and you just have to digest that. But with Amber, it's not hate speech, it's not anything like overly offensive, but it's something that you can definitely critique, and so that's why I think that Amber is a lot easier to digest compared to those other people. But like, there's so many other people in this community that you could, or there's so many other people within the internet that you could watch. You can, I watch a lot of MLM videos, because I think that those are not outwardly like dangerous, but like at the same time, it's like, something that you can criticize, and something that needs to be talked about a lot more. I watch a lot of videos regarding like like the Doherty dozen. Oh my god, I can't say it. The one with the fucking redhead mom. I watch a lot about that, and I watch, just like little like videos on and off about just like little niche topics. And I think that, like there's always other content out there. Like Amber is not the only content creator out there, and she doesn't even make that good of a content. I'm not gonna fucking lie. Like I don't watch her content like just by myself because it's boring as fuck. I need like a assisted. I need a like a para next to me when I watch that shit because I'm like I don't understand fuck all. Like I'm bored as nuts, bro. So yeah, I don't know. This whole Tommy stuff has just gotten me like thinking about this and that, and it's just crazy. I haven't even touched my food. But yeah, I was honestly like going to stop watching Amber if Tommy was going to become like a regular fixture within the Amber first, or because I was like, I think that's worse than cancer because she's deciding to die. Yeah, because cancer is not something you can decide to have. It just happens, and it's horrible, and you just have to deal with it. But with this, she's deciding to die, and that's just crazy to see. It's like assisted suicide. I'm so serious. It's like watching like assisted suicide like on YouTube. What, like, can you believe the internet has gotten to that point where you're able to watch a woman like eat herself to death and have someone help her on the long along the way? Like that is just so fucking morbid. Like I would rather watch her do it to herself than like have someone do it, because like at that point it's like holy fuck. But at the same time I don't want to watch her do that, and that's why I like going in and off. Like I'm not like super in the Amberverse where I'm like, I'm tracking everything. Like I know everybody and this and that. Like I'll stay out of it. I don't really believe in a lot of the conspiracy theories. Like a lot of people say that her cancer was not real, and let me just say that's weird. You guys are weird for questioning someone's like cancer diagnosis, because what the fuck do you know? Like even if you're a nurse, what the fuck? Like that's not your patient. That's not yours to say. Like even if they were your patient, like you should up in the internet being like, because oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't want you to be my nurse or doctor. Yeah, I think that claiming that someone's cancer diagnosis is false is very, very strange behavior. And I think that just log off. Just log off. And there's like some other conspiracies about like Valentine being Tommy, and that's one of the more kind of tame ones where I'm just kind of like, who cares? Honestly, like it's tomato, whatever the fuck. Like at the end of the day, like who cares? Like, what does that do for the conversation? Like, so what if Valentine apparently was married and had a husband or something like that, or like this and that? The only thing that I'm kind of like, it's a really minor thing, but like I cannot believe that Valentine dropped that much money on a fucking Lego set for someone that like she didn't even know. Because for me, I love my friends. I love my friends. I love my family. I love that, but like I'm not spending more than $20 on them. I'll be so honest with you. Like I'd rather make something for someone and send it to them instead of fucking like dropping down like damn near, I don't know how much it was, like almost like 1K on like Legos or something. I don't remember how much the Lego set was, but it was crazy enough for me to like be agape at the price. Like I was like, holy fuck, that's crazy. But I guess like money just don't mean shit to these people, because the amount of things that Amber has bought her partners and the things that her partners have bought her, I'm just like, it's almost like they're living in a world where money is just flowing. And I know that's not true with like Amber's views and stuff, but like it feels that way, don't it? And I don't know, just the whole Tommy situation has been just so insane to watch. And I've heard a lot of takes about it, and I generally agree with the more kind of major ones of like, oh, like I don't know why Amber's getting mad, I don't know why, like that anger. I haven't really seen like any like unpopular takes, because I don't really see people being like, oh, she should stay with Tommy, or like Tommy should be like, I want Tommy to be on the channel, this and that. I don't think I've seen anything like that, but maybe because I'm not like overly deep in it. But I'm pretty sure there probably are people out there that are like, oh yeah, I want Tommy in the channel because it will add some good drama. Actually, I have seen something. I've seen some people talk about like, oh, I wish there was more drama in this community. I wish Amber would do more. But like, girl, we are already like dealing with so much, like so fucking much. Like, how do you want more? Like, how do you want more? Like this, like we just had a whole expose about an alleged murderer, an alleged fat death individual, an alleged feeder, an alleged, I'm saying alleged because like I said, insufficient funds. But like all of this stuff, and it's like you want more than just this. Like you want more than someone just literally being fed to death. You literally want more than that. Like what else do you? Okay, at that point, go on 4chan, because this is not the community for you if you want more drama. Because you know what? Not even 4chan. You can just go look at like the Keffels drama, or like anything regarding Dream is not taken, or whatever the fuck. Go over to those spaces if you want like drama. You go over to like just pearly things. Go over to the fucking red pill, whatever the fuck, because that is probably where you want to be, because that is where all the drama will be. That's where all the fucking, you know, worse things than death can happen. Okay, but no, with Amber, the worst thing that can happen is that she's literally being fed to death, and this is literally the worst thing ever. And so you want more than just that? Like that's crazy. That is crazy. Like for me, I was stressed out during the fucking, not stressed out, but I was like, the cake gate was already too much for me, and that wasn't even anything that major. It was just her like being stupid. That's like one of the things I could deal with, like her being stupid, but like that like that's like my like end though. That's my end. Like I can deal with her being stupid. I can deal with her being ignorant. I can deal with her this and that. But like once it passes the part where, you know, she's being like racist and stuff like that. She's being racist. She's being, you know, belligerent. She's being like literally fed to death and stuff like that. Like that's where I like draw the line. I'm like, no, like I don't need more drama. Like, you know, like I'm happy she'll post a video and she'll be like, oh, I love the salami, and everyone's like, there's so much sodium in there. Like I like that kind of snark because I think it's so inconsequential. I think it's funny and whatever the fuck. But like when it comes to people like criticizing like her mom's drug addiction, or bringing up the shit from her mom's past. Like, I'm not saying like Mama Lynn is not someone who should be criticized, but like at the same time, it's like I don't give a fuck about Mama Lynn. She's not in my life. I don't care about her. Like, what the fuck would I care about what she did? I know that's a bad thing to say, but like I don't care about what she did, because like what does that got to do with me? Does that say something about me that I don't give a fuck about what she does? Like she has done a lot of things in her past, I think, that can be brought up for like criticism and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's like, what does that do for the greater conversation? Like, how does that affect Amber? Like, what does that do for Amber? So, okay, let's say her mom actually did beat up that dog. What does that do for Amber? Like, what context is that as Amber? Does that make Amber a bad person for having a mom that beat up a dog? I'm not saying that she didn't do that because it was like a clerical error or whatever the fuck, but let's just say hypothetically, like, okay, let's say like Mama Lynn beat up the fucking dog, and what does that say about Amber? Does that say like, oh, Amber must also be a dog beater, which she is a little bit. She says that her animals love her, but we'll leave that to the judge and the jury, but not me. But does that make Amber like a genetically bad person? No, I think that Amber is her own person that makes her own mistakes, and I think that Mama Lynn is someone who is her own person that makes her own mistakes. But she's not someone that owns a channel that talks about her life, that talks about that, and so I don't really think there's a point in like, you know, overly criticizing Mama Lynn to the point where it's just like, blah, 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 this and that. Like, of course you can be like, oh yeah, it's not right that she did that to an elderly person. It's not right that she did that. Like, she definitely this and that. And she did serve her time, and she did all this and that. And obviously she's trying to become a better person. And then so I don't think there's a point in criticizing someone who is trying to be better. You know, she's trying to be in her daughter's life. She's trying to be a good mom. And so, and I think it sucks that she wasn't there for Amber in the beginning, but at the same time, she was her own person, and she was dealing with her own struggles. And I know that when you have a kid, you have to kind of factor in their life as well. But like, what's done is done, you know? And if Amber has no resentment towards your mom, then like, why the fuck should we? I mean, we can, and you have free will to criticize the mom. Maybe you have some trauma regarding, you know, toxic parents, some trauma regarding like, parents who struggle with drug addiction, stuff like that. And so I think that you're allowed. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and get like, you can't talk about Mama Lynn. Like, who gives a fuck? Okay, I don't give a fuck if you talk about Mama Lynn. I don't give a fuck about Mama Lynn. I don't give a fuck about all that. Like, occasionally I'll be like, haha, that's funny. If Mama Lynn's like, I don't know, talking about some fucking scratchers, I don't give a fuck. I'll be like, that's funny, and then that's it. I'm not gonna think too much about it, because once you go down that rabbit hole being like, oh, like Tommy like started talking to Amber right after her girlfriend died, this and that, and all this timeline shit. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I'll leave that up to the professionals, but I am surely not one. I'm surely not one to sit here and make these bold accusations as to, you know, Amber's personality, Tommy's intentions, this and that, because at the end of the day, we don't know these people. We don't know fuck all about these people. And I think that that's just something I think that's just something that, like, this community just needs a little more. We just need to like distance ourselves away from Amber. I don't follow Amber on any platform. I don't follow her on TikTok. I don't follow her on fuck all. I don't follow any of the commentary channels other than where they primarily post, which is on YouTube. I don't follow them on Twitter. I don't follow them on any other platform because I want to distance myself. Because I think that it's like, I hate the zoo, but I'm gonna use at the zoo. Like when you go to the zoo, you don't fucking stick your arm in the fucking cage and, you know, jostle the fucking penguins' ball sacks. You don't do that shit because that's fucking weird and you're literally invading their space and you're literally making a problem out of nothing. Like you can literally just stand outside of the zoo and just be like, oh wow, that's cool, or oh wow, that's crazy. And just move on with your day. You know, you can go around the fucking park, look at all these fucking sideshow attractions and pick yourself a little treat on the way. And then, you know, you get in your car and you leave. And that's it. You don't have to ruin their day. You don't have to ruin your day by fucking jostling some fucking, you know, fucking monkey balls. You can just go about your day and just, you know, have fun, you know, do the do, and then just pop out. Like, it's really not that difficult, I don't think, to distance yourself. You know, just imagine there's like this barrier and like you just can't cross it. I don't know how else, like I don't want to sound like pedantic. I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm better than you guys for not being into the Amberverse. I'm better this and that. But I think that a lot of the people that are in this community definitely struggle with some type of mental illness, some type of something that makes them kind of do the things that they do. And I think that mentally ill people should just find better ways to cope. I think that if you find the Amberverse like something that is a comfort or whatever the fuck, I don't think that's a bad thing. But once you get so deep into it that you start making up these conspiracy theories, that you start like distrusting Amber, you start hating everything she does, and you wish death on this and that, I think that's definitely when you have to log off. Like I say that for every single creator. Like if you ever start seeing the creators that you watch in a negative, like a super negative light to the point where you want something bad to happen to them or you're preying on their downfall, I think that's probably when you gotta bounce. Because I don't want Amber to fail. I don't want her to do all this and that. But at the same time, I know that she's not gonna really go anywhere with her life. And so I don't think there's anything too horrible about like the Amberverse in general. I think that there are a lot of really kind of funny things, and I think that it's a great community because I think it opens a lot of discussion regarding, you know, like fat acceptance and being okay with your body, and opening discussions about like I think that like overall the Amberverse is something that is I think that it's generally pretty funny, and I want to say positive because I don't know if it's generally positive, but I think that there's a lot of enjoyment that can be had with this community. But like once it kind of passes that point of, oh wow, like I'm actually having fun, to the point where it's like, oh wow, like I fucking hate Amber, I want her to die, this and that, it's like, oh my gosh. Because that's where I was getting around like when I was like in deep with her. Like it was around like in the COVID time where she was throwing away all this food when people were dealing with food insecurity and dealing with like the lockdown and stuff like that. Like that literally made my fucking blood boil. I was watching Zach's video regarding it, and it just came out. And I watched her throw away all of that food, and I literally just felt so much fucking anger because I was like, how the fuck. I even thinking about it now, it still angers me because I'm just like, I cannot believe she did that at the height of the fucking pandemic, where people were literally struggling to get food, struggling to go out, like, and everybody was like fucking dying, and she was just like, oh, like our freezer went out, so we have to throw it. No, the fuck, you don't have to throw away everything. Like while I know that, like, you know, like fucking there like some foods like you can't eat because of this and that, but are you sure that none of it was salvageable? Like, you're telling me that majority of the fridge had to go because it went out? No, girl. Like, if we're dealing with a fucking pandemic, we're gonna make do. Like, I'm someone who's, like, eating food, like, past their, like, expiration date. Like, as long as it passes the smell test, we're cooking, girl. We're cooking. Okay? And I'm just saying, man, but I think that was when I literally, like, felt so much anger because it just felt me. It was just, like, how the fuck are you gonna say this about how the fuck are you gonna go on your channel and preach being, you know, empathetic, understanding, you know, giving, this and that, and then you record yourself throwing away all of this fucking food? Like, I don't understand that one single bit. And then after that, I just despised watching everything about Amber. And when the cancer announcement like came out, I was like, okay, we're done. Like I'm done. Like I don't want to feel any sort of way towards her. Like I don't want to feel any anger towards her. I don't want to feel any sadness towards her. I don't want to feel anything of the sort. And so we're done. We're done. And then I came back, I think like either last year or a year or 2 years ago, and I've just been kind of inconsistently watching. Like I'll let my creators kind of build up content and then I'll come back to watch it because I don't like to watch things as they come, unless it's like Tommy's situation. But I even let like Cake Gate kind of take its course before I hopped back in, and I let some of the other situations kind of linger before I hopped in. But I remember being around the Jade breakup part because I was like, okay, that's kind of tea. But other than that, I think that, you know, once you lose your enjoyment in the Amberverse, I think it's probably time for you to move on to a new community. And that's why I don't watch Foodie Beauty, because everything about her enrages me. And so I tend not to engage with her content. Like sometimes I'll watch like an Alex Just Shook, you know, live stream, and he'll watch like a Foodie Beauty video and I'll watch it. But other than that, I don't engage with the content because I think that she is genuinely like a bigot, a racist. Like everything that is wrong with the world is probably what Chantal is. And so I don't want to watch her because I just don't think that she's worth my time to watch. And since I am a grown adult with free will, I choose not to watch her. You see that? I choose not to watch her. And you know, if you guys are a Foodie Beauty watcher, you guys are going through a war right now. I can tell. You guys are definitely some very, very strong people, because I cannot stand a lot of her. I think that Amber is boring, but she's the boring that I can tolerate. But with Chantal, she's just so much all at once. When I came back to her with like the Nodder, whatever the fuck, that was crazy. And then her moving to Kuwait, I was just like, what is going on here? Like it was crazy, dude. Just crazy shit. And so yeah. And I think that a lot of people that are coming into the Amberverse are newer. Like I said, they come in thinking that oh, I'm watching this like apple mukbanger, this like fat lady that didn't get an apple, or they think that she's like funny because she's fat, or she's funny because she this and that. But like, you just have to watch some documentaries about her. There's so many on here, and you'll just start to realize that like there is a reason why there's a community around this woman. Okay, there is a reason why, and I don't think it's because she's so big that she has an orbit. Okay, I don't believe that's a fact. I believe that she has it because there are genuine criticisms of her personality, and I think that a lot of people watch her because they want to see her become a better person. But at the end of the day, girl, she's not going to become a better person. We all know that. I think that if she wanted to be a better person, she would have become a better person, but she doesn't want to be a better person, and so she's going to continue to be the way that she is because she's incentivized by the money, by the views, by the people egging her on in the DMs, by the people doing this and that. Like, I think she's very, very incentivized to continue to be a petulant child, and I can't say that I don't hate it. Okay, I can't say I don't hate it. I can't say that I don't like it. I can't say any of that because I'm kind of indifferent to it, because at the end of the day, content is content, and as long as I have something in the background that I can listen to, I do not give a fuck. But that being said, I don't want anything bad to happen to her. I don't want, anything traumatic to happen to her. I don't want anything of that sort. And I just don't want someone who is considered a death fat feeder to be on the channel and to be promoted, and for feederism to become like a bigger aspect of the community. Because like I said, I was aware of the feeder in her community, because I definitely think that a lot of the mukbangs that she does is very catered towards feeders, because there's no way in fucking hell that Burger King is worth being about, because while Burger King is pretty good, I mean, it's pretty low tier food. I'll be honest with you. Like, I'll be like fucking gripping the tables white if I was eating like a New York strip. But if I was eating fucking Burger King, I'd be like, okay, like, it's food, I guess. Like, it's food and it's cheap and it's, sustenance. But I wouldn't be like fucking like, you guys, yeah, no. Like, you definitely have to be playing up for the camera. Like, that's why I didn't really eat anything, because like, I just don't have a reaction to the food. I'll just eat. I'll be like, this is pretty good. Or like, I'll be like, oh wow, like, could be better. And that's it. But I think that a lot of the stuff that she does is like, oh my gosh, you guys. And like, she'll moan and stuff. And I'm just like, she makes me question sometimes if I'm like pansexual or not. Like, she makes me question if I'm like actually like into women or into men. But then I'll like, scroll on TikTok and I'll be like, maybe I am into women. But then it flip flops, so you don't really know. You don't really know in this day and age. But yeah, crazy stuff, y'all. Crazy stuff. I think I yapped on for too long about this, but I just had a lot to say about like the whole. I didn't really cover the Tommy situation a lot because I feel like it's been overdone. I just kind of want to like talk a little bit more about like the Amberverse and all this and that, because I feel like my other video was just a little bit too casual. I wanted to kind of, you know, flesh out my thoughts a little bit more regarding this community. I don't know if I'm going to continue to make Amber content. I'm not going to do reactions because like Amber, I'm lazy. I don't want to figure out how to do a video in one or whatever the fuck, and so I shan't be doing that. But if something, you know, major happens, I'll, you know, report on it. Maybe maybe not, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, anyways, I think that's all I gotta say on that. I think I'll just eat my cold food now, because I don't want to waste it. But I hope that this wasn't like too overly like, because I'm usually a little bit more upbeat and whatever the fuck. But I think that in this, I just gotta tone it down. You know, you gotta read the room. I gotta match the energy like amberlynn, and I gotta make sure that, you know, I'm being respectful, but also, you know, gotta sprinkle a little personality and whatnot. And so we'll see what happens with this Tommy thing. Watch me like literally like eat, and then I like scroll on Facebook and I find more information. That's gonna fucking piss me off. But yeah. I'd be kind of interested to hear what you guys think about the Tommy situation. If you are like the way you feel about it, or like if you have had a history. No, that'd be crazy if someone was like in the theater community and watching me. That'd be crazy. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about it, because I think that there's so many opinions out there, and I think that it'd be interesting to kind of see like what, you know, like how this video like is perceived by others, and how and what my viewers think, because I think that, you know, the internet can think a lot of things, and Zachary's subscribers can think a certain way, and, you know, Alex's subscribers can think a certain way. I'm curious about what you guys think of everything, because it is definitely a very sticky situation. A very sticky situation, and I think I'm going to schedule this video pretty early on, because I tend to like space it out and stuff like that. But I think I'm gonna do it because it's more kind of topical, and by the time I get this up, it's gonna be like September, and you guys are gonna be like, girl, like this is old news. So I'm gonna try to get it up at least like sometime in August. We'll see. But yeah, yeah, just a really strange situation. I don't think I want any more drama like this for the foreseeable future. But we will have to see how it unravels. I really do hope that Amber is no longer in communication with Tommy, but we just don't know. We just don't know, and that's probably the worst part of it all. We just don't know, and so we will just have to sit and watch. And I will be doing that on my own time. But yes, let me know. I'm curious. As always, yes, as always. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, kisses.